Hi, Zizaran here, and today I wanted to make a quick Diablo 4 tips and tricks videos of useful things that I've learned so far. So, the most useful thing that I've found so far is key binding Scroll of Escape. Scroll of Escape is an instant scroll, and you see a lot of people using them by holding E and clicking that. However, if you go to Controls, and then, middle ring input 7 is the one I've put it on, and then I have it on mouse button 4. Now, this is imperative if you're playing hardcore, not for the reason you might think to avoid combat and escape. There is a very regular bug, we don't really know why it happens, but there's a bug where you can only use your potions. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm dead. I'm literally dead. I'm actually dead. I can't do anything. He's hunting me. Alt F4 keeps you in for 40 seconds. You will no longer be able to teleport out to town, you will no longer be able to use your skills, and you will no longer be able to evade. But you are able to use the hotkey to use Scroll of Escape. So very, very important that you have that, because this lets you avoid dying to this bug. Next up, there are some really, really important reagents such as Grave Dust, Pale Tongue, Demon Heart, and Crushed Beast Bone. I'm going to show you where to get those now. So on this little island here, there will sometimes be a monster, and that will be, I think this is the Pale Tongues. So it's here on the map. It's not currently up. It'll be like a statue that you can't target or attack with 4 like disciples sitting in front of her. It's on this little island here, right below this. If you turn off cross network play, it should in theory be less people per server. So you will be more likely to find the enemies that you actually want to find. I'm try logging in now in the same spot and see if the monster is actually spawned. Okay, it is still not here, but if you look here in Sko's Glen, in this area of the map, right here, there's a monster, and this is the crushed beast thing that drop. So I've been farming that quite a lot. And then up here, approximately where I am now, I'll show on the map, there will be a big scorpion, and that will drop the hearts. So none of these were up, but I'll try to get my editor to have images of all of them and where they are. So this is right here at the top of the pillar here, and it'll look like a glow similar to the one around my character on the map. So it's a big scorpion, and yeah, it's here in Kyrgyzstan. Those are the 3 needed for the elixirs. Here is the last spot. So this is, I believe, the Grave Dust, if I remember right. Can't remember if this is actually Grave Dust, but there is an elite that spawns, and it drops one of the important things here. It is a big tree. It actually almost one-hit me, so do be careful with this one. It is right next to Menestad, and you just click here, and you go here. So obviously all of these elites that drop a lot of important things are farmed all the time, so they might not be up, but I've been making pretty regular runs to like check that they're up. And I've got quite a lot of all of them, as you can see. And I have, do I have any death elixirs yet? I think I like used all of mine. So I'm just keeping them to be able to craft them, but pretty great to go farm those up. And Max Slurper in my chat discovered that there is a very quick way to farm Elixir of Deathivation. Let me run into the cellar. Now obviously there are 3 spots where you can farm, or 4 spots where you can farm the different monsters that give them, but they're not always up, and there's a lot of running involved. However, what Max Slurper found instead is that if you go here to Menestad, there is 2, one here and one here. I'll show when we get out. Little cellars. The cellars are not actually completely worth this. Now, the first time I did this, I got a little bit unlucky with the event, and I had like a 1-minute timer on it. But normally, it's just kill a few monsters and a chest will drop. And if you see now, we got 3 Pale Tongues, and just cycling between these 2 will give you Pale Tongue, Crushed Bones, Demon Hearts, etc. Anywhere from like 3 to 6 or whatever. So just by running between these 2 dungeons, they respawn pretty much instantly. And then we go do the other one. And then, you know, if you're on hardcore, this is a very, very good way to get the materials you need to make death elixirs. You can just run between both of these dungeons. And now this one spawned. So I've just been farming these now. Now this is an unlucky event because this is going to be a minute. But either way, if you're playing hardcore especially and you're looking for death elixirs, I hope this help helps you. Help for helping. Sub if you liked the video. A very important tip in dungeons and just while playing, if you ever see these purple people here, damage resistance aura. You really, really want to kill these because they'll have a big debuff to how tanky everything is. But if you kill those, everything else around it will die very quickly. Another habit while you're running around the world, picking up simple things like yellow wine, etc. is really, really important. You are really going to want a lot of potions, and a lot of them are pretty good for getting increased damage. In our final push, where we're using potions such as like increased damage, increased life, um, there's also like attack speed, crit chance, or things like 20% damage against goats. So if you're farming an area where you know you're going to be fighting goats for the next 20-30 minutes, that is really, really good. So make sure you have that. Another important thing is remember to keep your potions upgraded as much as you can. I am missing howler moss and stuff like that and grave dust, but you know, I'm kind of done with the push on this character. I'll be making a rogue next, so I don't need to upgrade it. But there are loads of important elixirs you can make. I can currently make 3 cheat death elixirs. I need more grave dust if I want more. You can also refine resources. Make sure you check that out. Like if you really need some Galavine, do be careful because obviously it's not a great ratio, but if you really need something in a pinch, you can also like make silver ore from iron ore. I have a lot of both of these, so I'm not very worried. There is also incense to craft. This is like an AoE buff that's around you. Increases all stats by 40, increases your chance to dodge, armor by 150, etc. But at the very least, they are affecting you. They become like this large aura around you. Another tip that can be really good, you can see how large my cursor is. And that is in graphics options. You can click on cursor scale here. I was noticing I was losing track of my cursor quite a lot when it was small mid-combat. So I changed it up. Even just 1 up is pretty nice, but I found that it was pretty useful just to have it at the largest. In Hell Tides, it's very, very important to look for the mysterious chest. It looks like this, and it drops a bunch of things. I think it's 175 of the Aberrant Cinders to open it, but it is way better than the other chests. Other than that, I've been focusing on helmets and gloves for myself. Helmets obviously have a lot of good uniques. I don't know if Shaco can drop from it, but you know, always a chance that that might be one of the ways to get it. And gloves have a lot of good gloves for different classes as well. So that's the ones I've been focusing on. Other than that, just, you know, whatever gear you need. I found that if I farm for like 20 minutes, I can usually open every single chest in the Hell Tides, and it's very, very rewarding. Dungeon-wise, Champion's Demise is really, really good to farm. That's the best one we've found so far. And then when you're done farming the initial bit of just goats, you could just go outside the dungeon and re-log. Or if you don't want to do that, there's another dungeon up here that you can just chain between these two and farm XP that way. Another thing to remember is that upgrading your gear, as you can see here, will upgrade. So even the things like damage to injured enemies will go up a level. So very, very important. Sometimes that'll give you an additional rank in the skills, etc. that you maybe didn't even know that you could get. So especially on your in-game gear, getting all the way to level 5 is pretty important there. This is why you want the Forgotten Souls, and there are good materials there that you need, which you get from Helltide. And do make sure that you salvage a lot of your gear as well as sell, because you do need a large amount of gold and the salvaging materials. Another very big tip, I would recommend getting rubies in your gear. The resists aren't that important, so don't bother with those. And I would recommend getting the skulls in your jewels. That's pretty much best in slot, because armor is all resist, basically. It's very, very strong. And then I prefer personally having emeralds in gear, critical striking against vulnerable enemies. But that also depends a little bit on what class you're playing. Something that a lot of people want to do is have mouse button 1 be click and interact, but not being a skill to attack with. To do that, you go to options, click on controls, and first you need to click this, combine, move, interact, and basic skill slot, so that is not ticked. And that will now enable move and interact. So you don't need to have that on anything else then. And then, yeah, I put mouse button 5 as my core skill and then right click as my whatever. So that's been really good. I've been enjoying that. Now, as a final tip for figuring out your build, etc., I would start experimenting and trying to figure out what build you are between level 70 to 85. After that, it becomes really, really difficult to respec because you can't go down as easily and do easier content. Especially the Hell Tides will obviously scale with you. So if you're pivoting your build completely and you don't have as good gear, the Hell Tides are still going to be as difficult as what you were fighting with your highest level. Even if you go down in a world tier, the elites will still be super high level. So be careful of that and make sure you figure out what build you really want to min-max, as endgame respecs at level 100 requires that you get a full new gear set that is at least as strong as your previous build before you do the respec. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos. An alternative way of supporting me right now is by gifting 2 subs to the Twitch channel, and you get a mount in return for that. Either way, I hope you guys are enjoying all the content. Thanks for watching. More importantly, try to die less than I do.